Hello? It's the Ninja Story. I promise the whole video is not going to be in this text-to-speech voice, but I got too tired recording audio for this video, so you're just going to have to deal with this for the intro. 2022 was one of the best years for movies in a long time. So many great movies came out this year, and I am so grateful that this is the year that I've decided to take a serious matter into looking into film critically. This is the most movies that I've watched in a single year, as I watched 92 movies this year. And out of those movies you're going to find some good ones and some bad ones. Today we're just going to be looking at some of the best ones that I watched this year. Now, one slight rule before this video begins. Any movie that had its worldwide release in 2022 will count for this list. Some movies appeared at festivals in 2021, but that will not matter. Those movies will count if they had a worldwide release in 2022. Also remember, these are just my opinions, so don't get too riled up if one of your favorite movies is very low down or not on the list. And a movie that you did not like is my favorite movie of the year. Now, before we begin, I just want to run through a few honorable mentions on this list, and those go to Scream, Barbarian, The Black Phone, Turning Red, The Bad Guys, X, Nope, The Fablemans, The Batman, Avatar, The Way of Water, The Woman King, and finally, Triangle of Sadness. Now, without further ado, here's my list of my 15 favorite movies of 2022.
Oh well. Karma's a bitch.
Well, who had this one on their bingo cards? Do Revenge is one of my favorite movies of the year. I know, but hear me out. This movie just gives me Mean Girls vibes, and I am all over it. Out of all the Netflix teen trash that we've gotten over the years, Do Revenge, unlike those movies, is actually kind of enjoyable. I mean, it's not perfect. It's very dumb. It is very insane. But I didn't hate it. I found it so enjoyable. I thought the performances across the board and the acting was very, very strong, especially from Maya Hawke and Camila Mendes. The two have incredible chemistry together, and they worked flawlessly. I thought all the side characters were really fun. Sophie Turner is hamming it up, and I loved it. I thought the script was very tight and actually went along with the concept and actually moved along progressively. I do think the twist midway through or near the end is a little...
I want to burn her to the ground.
Whoa.
But I don't know. I just really like this one. I know a lot of people weren't big fans of it, but I don't know. Do Revenge is good. Watch it. Form your own opinion. I'm not your mom.
It's the Mickey Mouse crack house! Come inside! I wanna fucking die!
Babylon is a movie that I feel like I'm just drawn to even if it was good or bad. If it was good, this would probably be one of the best movies of the year, and if it was bad, it would probably be a guilty pleasure. And I find it in the middle, but I still love this movie. I know a lot of people are saying this is a very bad movie. You look at the reviews and you're like, Lord. But I don't know, I really like this movie. First of all, Margot Robbie and Diego Calva, hopefully I said his name right, they are absolutely incredible in this movie. Legitimately. Progression of their characters, the relationship the two have, Diego going more and more insane because of Margot and because of everything else in Hollywood at the time. It's absolutely incredible. And the way that Diego's character just descends into becoming an asshole, it's so well done. Also, Margot, every time she's on screen, she just steals the scene, and that's basically her character. She's a scene stealer in the movie, but legitimately, her performance is absolutely phenomenal. Also, I didn't love Brad Pitt as much as the other two, but he's also really good in this movie. Lee Jong Lee, Gene Smart, DJ Barn. This is one of the best casts of the year, and they all give really good performances. Also, the comedy really struck for me. Like, I know it didn't struck for a lot of people, but there's some scenes that legitimately made me laugh out loud. That scene where they're filming the college, like, that was absolutely hilarious. Also, the direction was really good here, and I don't say this about a lot of movies, but I specifically noticed it in this movie. The score is absolutely incredible in this. The score is so fun. My only gripes with the movie is that I feel like the Tobey Maguire scene is a little meh. Like, you could have definitely taken that out of the movie, and I understand why. Like, it's just coming off of Spider-Man, and you want to include him in the movie, but his scene felt a little just there. And also, as a huge Samara Weaving fan, I feel like she should have gotten a bigger role, but otherwise, this was a really fun movie, and just a movie that I feel like I'm just like grown to like, because I love insane party movies, and this is an insane party movie. So I wanted to include an animated movie on this list, and I had no clue which one to do. I was torn between a few, but I think I decided on one. I rewatched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and yeah, it's actually that good. This is just one of the most fun animated movies that I've seen in a minute. This is such a fun adventure with Puss and this dog and Kitty Softpaws and the rest of the characters in this movie. There's really not a bad character in this entire movie. The wolf is actually one of the best DreamWorks villains maybe ever. So menacing, so good, and when you realize who and what he actually is, he becomes absolutely terrifying, and it's perfect. Goldilocks and the Three Bears was also really good, and their voice acting was really good. Florence Pugh is Goldilocks. Florence Pugh is in so many movies this year, and she has not given a bad performance once. So speaking of voice acting, this villain right here, golden. And even Salma Hayek and Antonio Banderas is good as Puss and Kitty. Both of them are really good. I really like the relationship throughout the movie. The animation, by the way, is phenomenal. It has this very like Spider-Verse feel, even more than the bad guys did, and the bad guys had very good Spider-Verse animation. I'm just happy that there are so many animated movies that are coming out now that are more focused on quality over minion shenanigans and trying to make money, and instead of just trying to make quality films. The fight scenes in this are absolutely incredible. The story itself, the comedy, so much of this movie just works. I had no hopes for this movie at all, like probably a lot of people. But I can happily say that this was one of the biggest surprises of the year and my favorite animated movie to come out of 2022.
Are you seriously watching porn by yourself?
No! I'm with the science team!
Pleasure is a very different movie, and I don't want to spend too long on it because this is a very hard movie to watch. Basically, it's a movie about the adult film industry and the wrongdoings about it. And this is one of the hardest movies to get through this year. This was legitimately sickening, and it was maybe the most disturbing movie of the year, potentially. Like, this movie is brutal, intense, and I think that's why I loved it. Like, it's very hard to get through, but if you're able to get through it, you'll find that it's one of the most powerful stories of the entire year, along with one of the best performances of the year. Yeah, Pleasure is legitimately bone-chilling, but I think that's why I really loved it. Like, it's such a different and bold and brave movie, so I really recommend you watch it if you can take it.
My favorite thing about the movie is, like, it feels like a movie.
Okay, I know y'all don't want to hear it, so I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Don't Worry, Darling is a really good movie. Now, objectively, can this be considered one of the best movies of the year? No. But in my personal opinion, this is one of the best experiences I've had in a theater. And not even, like, watching the movie, like, with a crowd and hearing the reaction to this, but, like, legitimately, the movie itself, it's honestly good in my opinion. First off, I know she's gotten too much praise for this movie. And by too much praise, I mean the right amount of praise. But Florence Pugh is actually magnificent in this movie. Everyone that's dissing on this movie can't diss Florence Pugh. She's that good in the movie. Also, Chris Pine is really, really good. And I actually thought Olivia Wilde was also good too. I know, like, in the real world, she's, yeah. But her performance in this movie, I actually liked it a lot. And now we get to Harry Styles himself. Now, I think Harry Styles is fine in Don't Worry Darling. I think he is fine. However, I feel like his character is great. It's just that Harry Styles is not good enough an actor to really make his character stand out and make it convincing. I think the character is really good. And I think Harry Styles is trying, and I think he did it because he knows this character is really good. But the performance wasn't convincing enough to really feel like...
I gave you all of this, Alice!
Oh, scary! Oh, shiver my timbers!
Literally everything behind the camera in this movie is absolutely phenomenal. The one thing that I think you can gripe about this movie is the writing and the story, which is, yeah, a little confusing, like the plane though. But whatever, I really, really like this movie, and everyone who says it's bad is understandable, but at the same time, I don't care.
Wow, they have it! Canned bread!
So I really liked the menu when I saw it, but then now that more time has passed, I kind of love this one now. I mean, this movie is maybe one of the funniest movies of the year. I saw this alone at a theater, and I was laughing so hard around the middle to end of this movie. It is such a funny-ass movie, man. Nicholas Hoult, as much as people hate him, he's phenomenal in this movie. Anya Taylor-Joy is pretty much good in anything at this point, aside from... Ralph Fiennes is also really, really, really good. And I probably said his name wrong, and people are probably going to correct me, but I don't give a John Leguizamo, like, he's everywhere, but he's good in this, like, legitimately. Everyone was really good in this. Everyone was really funny. I thought the plot was really, really strong. I thought the progression made sense. This was just a really good movie in general. Really enjoyed this one. I am never watching Hell's Kitchen ever again.
You got BLM in your bio, and you're saying all that?
Alright, hot take. I personally believe that Black Panther Wakanda Forever is the best MCU movie that we got this year. I know, but, like, hear me out. I know that's very controversial, but, like, can you blame me? This one had an actually decent story. It had great characters. It had great action. It had very good emotion. It felt necessary, and it's a worthy sequel to a very great movie in the MCU. I joke, but this is legitimately one of the best Phase 4 movies, and potentially maybe even a top 10 MCU movie. I have to think about that, but when I saw it, yeah, definitely I agree with that. But looking back, it's still a very, very great movie. Like, definitely a top 10 movie of the year. However, I think a lot of it is saved by the performances, because the performances in this are so strong. Especially Letitia Wright and Angela Bassett. Especially Angela Bassett. Also, I actually didn't mind Ironheart in this. I actually thought she was kind of funny at points, even though she wasn't super necessary, I think. And I understand they had her just to, like, so they could jumpstart her series, which I feel like MCU is doing a lot now. I'll say this, she was definitely a better inclusion than American Chavez and Doctor Strange 2, with a great soundtrack, really good action, and a really good tribute to Chadwick Boseman. This is potentially the best superhero movie of 2022. Sorry, Batman.
The best movie ever.
Better than the first?
It was better than the first. There's a first.
Top Gun Maverick is a movie about Tom Cruise, and he rides an airplane, and it's called Top Gun Maverick, and it made $1.4 billion, and it's a movie, and it's a sequel to Top Gun, which is a movie, and Top Gun Maverick is also a movie, and Top Gun Maverick is a very good movie, I heard, and I saw it, and I really liked it. she said was a movie that I didn't expect to like as much as I did, but I actually kind of loved it. Like, I figured it would be a good movie, but not this good at all. So She Said is based on the New York Times article in 2019 or 2018, I want to say, maybe even 2017. I'm great with years. It's basically calling out sexual harassment in Hollywood and is specifically targeting people like Harvey Weinstein, who, yes, is mentioned and is even shown as a body double in the movie, which, honestly, I'll get back to that. This movie was absolutely incredible, and it really could not have been. Like, this could have very well have been a, oh, female empowerment, women are the future type of movie, like 355 and Men, which you'll hear about next video. But no, it's actually really emotional. It struck the emotional beats very well. It gave fantastic performances. Like, Carey Mulligan in this is absolutely, like, outstanding. The stories told by these women about what happened to them, they're chilling. And especially when Harvey does show up, like the body double for Harvey does show up, if chills run down your spine and goosebumps over your body, because he's built up as this like monstrous figure that when he finally shows up or his name is mentioned, it kind of makes this uneasy feeling in your body that that is unlike anything else that I felt this year. So that's for my number one. But I think what makes this movie great is the pacing. This is one of the best paced movies of the year, or well-paced movies of the year. Like, specifically, I just wanted to say that this movie is over 2 hours. I think it's like 2 hours and 30 minutes or something close to that. But it felt perfect with the length. And I'm being serious. This was a really fantastic movie that told a great message, had incredible characters, great writing, great pacing. This was a fantastic movie. If you haven't checked this one out, please check it out. It is worth your time.
Jessica! Did you sleep with your goddamn teacher? What?
I love Michelle Yeoh, but I really hope Cate Blanchett wins the Oscar for Tar. Like, she is absolutely phenomenal in this movie. And I honestly might even use the word perfect. Like, she eats up the screen and makes this movie one of the best of the year. Like, if this wasn't Cate Blanchett, this probably wouldn't even be on my top 15. And I remember I worked at the theater. I'm still working at the theater. And I remember looking into this movie at some points and being like, this is a little boring, I'm not gonna lie. And I'd seen the ending of this movie many times, and I was like, yeah, this doesn't look incredible. So then I had waited until it came out on digital, and then I decided to watch it. I really wished I watched it in that theater, because I cut the part that I should have seen a lot more context with. But man, this movie was absolutely phenomenal. A great score, an incredible score. Again, I don't say that a lot about movies, but man, incredible score. Great writing and pacing, and again, the cast. Even the supporting cast is great, but man, it really just comes down to Cate Blanchett and this monster performance. And I mean, the fact that I'm saying that one of the best actresses of all time is like the best in this movie and gives an incredible performance shouldn't surprise a lot of people, but it really is like one of the best performances of the entire year. If you're like me and you kind of put off Tar as this kind of like mediocre orchestra movie, please go and check it out. It is phenomenal. And it's basically played like a biopic, but it's about a fictional character, but you still remain like intrigued. That's how you know.
Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored in the motherfucking house.
Alright, this is another Don't Worry Darling situation, even though this movie is objectively better than Don't Worry Darling, but here it goes. Yes, Bodies is a top 5 movie of the year, and I don't care. I have defended this movie so much in conversations, at work, but man, this is maybe the funniest movie of the year. Like, it could very well be. This is the movie that I've probably seen the most this year. I've seen this movie maybe 4 times or 3 times, just one or the other. I just, like, this movie is so perfect for this generation.
I have body dysmorphia.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up, Alice.
Did you just fucking shoot me? I can't believe you're making this about you. You're always gaslighting me.
You fucking trigger me.
You are so toxic.
Relax.
You're silencing.
I feel like this is the movie that was made for me this year. A teenage horror movie with great comedy and an absolutely incredible cast. Say what you want about the movie's story or even the comedy, but you cannot deny that this cast is dedicated, and there's literally not a bad actor. Chase Sweet Wonders is maybe the one person that didn't get a lot of development and wasn't incredible, but Lee Pace is so good as the supporting character. Pete Davidson is the perfect amount of douchebag. Mahala Harold, so good in this. Maria Bakalova is the one character that I've seen getting a lot of hate online because, yeah, she's the straight person, but also she was really unlikable at some points. And I understand why people think that, but I think it's supposed to do with this generation. Like, even the nicest people can seem nice, but when you push their buttons, they can become a very evil person. And I think that speaks true for this generation. Amanda Stenberg is so good in this. And I've been saving this actress for last because she is the best part. Rachel Sennick is one of the best performances of the year, and I'm legitimately not joking. Probably the best comedic performance of the year. Her comedic timing in this is so good. So many quotable lines. And what I loved about her character, that while she's probably the most unlikable out of all of them, she just has this natural presence that makes you like her the most. Okay, I've gone on for really long about this one. Just Bodies is legitimately one of my favorite movies of all time. That's a joke, don't worry. Bodies is the funniest movie of the year for me. And I think this could honestly take a Jennifer's Body type of resurgence in past years or in the years to come. Like how Jennifer's Body was kind of seen as like bad, and then over the years it's gotten so much more recognition because people have realized the stories and like the actual message behind it. But it's very 2000s, and this is very Gen Z. And I feel like the next generation might look back at this and actually like it and like the comedy a lot more. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, Bodies was so underrated this year. I loved it.
Then what the fuck is stopping us from just throwing ourselves off a bridge and giving up and saying, yeah, the planet is dying, the government hates us, the animals are leaving, the aliens aren't contacting us, we might be alone, it just might be you and me, but that's okay, because you really need anyone else?
Why was I hard?
Oh wow, the guy that loved Knives Out loved Glass Onion? That's crazy. I mean, Glass Onion is one of the year's most like widely acclaimed movies, so yes, obviously I loved it. There's really not a lot that I can add that hasn't been said about this movie already. Like, great cast, incredible cast, like every single actor is great. So speaking on a personal level, I didn't love Leslie Odom Jr. as much as everyone else. Like, he's still great, but like I didn't love a lot about his character, and I feel like he was the least developed out of everyone. But yeah, also Jessica Henwick was just kind of there, but I did like her presence a lot. But the script is fantastic. Everyone else in the movie gives incredible performances. Daniel Craig, Kate Hudson, and especially Janelle Monáe. Production, fantastic. The writing, so smart and clever. The story, a natural progression, and it's fantastic. And maybe one of the best endings of the entire year. Glass Onion was so worth the wait, and I loved it just as much as Knives Out. Maybe a tiny bit less, because that first movie, I adore it. But Glass Onion was such a worthy sequel, and maybe one of the best sequels, maybe ever, in my opinion.
You get your very own spotlight tonight, 'cause it's all about her.
If I really liked X, then that must mean that I fucking loved Pearl. And I did. Pearl is like literally the second I saw it, it entered into my top 50 movies of all time. This movie is just everything I wanted it to be. Insane woman goes insane and kills people. That's what I wanted, and that's what I got, and it's my third favorite movie of the year. That's how basic I am. Mia Goth, whatever you want to call her. I know a lot of people call her like, she gives maybe, I need to think about this, but maybe the best performance of the year. It's either between her or Cate Blanchett for Tar. Like, it's a close race, but the smile at the end of the movie, holy God. Like, she holds this for 3 minutes, I think, or maybe like 2.5. And she starts crying too and still holds a smile. And it's so poetic in terms of the context of the movie. Plus, the whole movie before that is fantastic. It's so intense, so good. I love it. I think I'll always love it. It's legitimately one of my favorite movies of all time. Please watch Pearl. It is fucking incredible.
Oh shit!
Oh. Raccoon.
So this isn't number one. Yeah, I like this isn't number one somehow. This is legitimately, again, once I saw this is another movie that immediately entered into my like top 50 movies of all time. I really think it's in my top 20. And I think this is the best movie of the year. But it's not my favorite. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is probably the best movie of the year in my opinion. Like, this is just a masterpiece. This is the magnum opus of 2022. I know a lot of people found it weird and a lot of people found it disturbing, Jesus Christ. But man, this movie was so original. I'm not going to knock a movie for being disturbing and weird if it is this unique and original, different. Such a brave and confident stride into new cinema that we haven't seen before, and I love it. Michelle Yeoh is incredible here, playing every single role with perfection. She gives maybe the most versatile performance of 2022. Like, she's phenomenal here. Ki Kwan, he's gonna win the Oscar, there's no doubt about it. Stephanie Hugh, I thought was really good. I didn't love her like Ki Kwan and Michelle Yeoh, but she was also really good. And oh my god, Jamie Lee Curtis, maybe Best Supporting Actress winner, like maybe. She's also incredible here as well, and once you get to learn more about her character, she gets to shine. The fact that this movie almost made me cry over rocks is insane. This is one of the top 5 movies about taxes, and I love it. It's so different. The multiverse concept is explored so well and somehow better than a Marvel movie ever could have. This is fantastic. It's maybe the best movie of the year, but it's not my favorite. Okay, I think that some of the movies beforehand are probably more technically sound and maybe better than my number one. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is definitely better. Maybe Glass Onion, maybe Pearl, and probably Tar and Top Gun, but I just had to be true to myself, and if I didn't put this one at number one, I would be lying to myself. My number one movie still is The Fallout. While Pearl was maybe one of the most enjoyable and just entertaining movies I saw this year, while Bodies, Bodies, Bodies was the funniest movie I saw this year, while Glass Onion was just one of the most like perfect movies I saw this year, and Everything Everywhere All at Once is just a masterpiece on every single level, The Fallout is the movie that speaks to me the most on a personal level. This movie is my comfort zone. This movie is my escape. It's a very difficult movie with very difficult topics, but the second I saw this immediately entered into my top 10 movies of all time, and that's not a joke. The Fallout, it's perfect in my opinion. Like, I know nothing's perfect, but like, this is a perfect movie for me, at least. Take that as you will. This movie is just, it's everything, everywhere, all for me. Jenna Ortega, I know she received a lot of fame because of Wednesday, but she's been a star for so long in my eyes. And the fact that she's finally getting popularity is great now, and I thought she was really good on Wednesday. This is her best performance of all time, and that's not a joke. She made me cry. She made me cry. She legitimately made me cry. Her dialogue and the way that she delivers it is so raw and emotional and perfect. It legit made me cry. The opening scene I replayed so many times, and I still get goosebumps and chills, and I still tear up because it's perfectly done. It's so traumatic. Maddie Ziegler gets to rewrite the wrongs of music, the movie with Sia, and she does. She is phenomenal in this movie. Lumi Pollock, I think that's her name. She's so good in this movie. Nels Fitch is so good. Freaking Shailene Woodley's in this, and she's good. Joey Bowen will rock, bro. John Ortiz made me cry. That scene, Veda and her dad on the hill screaming at the worlds, the dad saying that he wants to protect his daughter, and Veda screaming about how she's scared to go to school every day. Like, that's emotion. That is full on, like, tears coming down. This is the best movie of the year. Everything about this movie is perfect. The script, the score, the performances, the camera work. I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. It's my favorite movie of the year. I don't think that's gonna change. Thank you for existing.
Yeah, you don't even